Hey everybody, welcome to another Rackspace Cloud Office Hours Hangouts. My name's Alan Bush. I'm here with my coworker Miguel Parada, and we're broadcasting live from the castle in San Antonio, Rackspace's headquarters. With us, as always, is our co-host Drew Cox. Drew, how you doing today, buddy?
Absolutely fantastic.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Looks like you got in a little bit of duck hunting today.
That dumb dog just keeps laughing at me.
He's laughing.
Drives me crazy, seriously.
Yeah, he does. So today we're going to be talking about managed operations, our managed operations service level on our cloud. We've got a couple of different service levels for the cloud, and we really wanted to focus on managed operations. And so today we've assembled an all-star cast to join us and to talk about that. We really wanted to focus on the brand new user experience, right? What the what the first little bit of experience is going to be like for our customers. So that's what we brought in. Two people that are joining us from the lodge, Bill Hertzing and Allison Henslee from the launch team. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, how's doing good?
Doing pretty good, thanks guys.
Great, absolutely good to have you. We'll introduce ourselves here in just a little bit more, but and then we also have Miguel Parada here from our managed operations team. You're a Linux admin.
Hey, fellas.
Great to have you. Great to have you. So let's talk real quick about everybody that we have here and just get some introductions out of the way. Miguel, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You just hit your 3 years at Rackspace, didn't you?
Yes, so I did 3 years last week. I'm very happy about that. Time flew by when you're having fun. I recently became a level 3 Linux admin in managed operations. So that's pretty much my role day to day.
Yeah, and you're actually administering user servers, right? So I mean, you are logging in on their machines, you are updating configurations, you're hooking multiple computers together to serve applications and websites.
Yes, yeah. So that's a very important piece of what we do every day. We log into your servers, and we're going to help you scale them so you can have, serve the amount of capacity and traffic that your website needs. So that's a very important piece to be able to scale that out and actually be an extension of your support team.
Great. Great. And then Bill and Allison, let's introduce you guys as well. Allison, I think you actually just had you got your 5-year flag, didn't you?
I did. February 22nd, I got my 5 years, so it felt really great.
Nice, good. Yeah. That's a big accomplishment. And you and Bill are on the launch team. Drew and I actually came from that team originally. Tyler, our producer's on that team as well. Tell us a little bit about how the launch team works and what you guys do on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. So we were born out of a need and a want to make sure that our new customers coming into cloud, we wanted to find out, was this their first time using cloud technology? How had they been hosted before? And what's the driving force for them coming to use our infrastructure and needing this service level, for example? So we want to learn about their business, and we really essentially want to be sure that they have everything they need to get started, get up and running properly and efficiently.
Great. And Bill, you've been a Racker for 3 years now?
3 years, yeah. 1st of March.
There you go. Wow, everybody's hitting work anniversaries. That's good. I've got until the fall. Drew, I think you're going to hit 5 years in the fall too, right?
Yeah, 4 years out.
All right. Well, hey, everybody's doing good. Great. And so, Bill, Allison, tell us a little bit about some of the customers that you would work with on a day-to-day basis. They're all brand new, right? And you work with them for what, the first 60 days?
That's correct. So what we do is work with customers for 60 days. We kind of want to make sure that we come in on the ground floor and make sure they're set up for success. So that means figuring out what it is they're trying to do, figure out what it is they want to bring over. Sometimes it's an existing application. Sometimes it's a new application that has never seen the light of the internet, so to speak. So all these kind of wonderful things. Sometimes it's an application that is small. It's a site that's probably sees no more than maybe 10 to maybe 100 hits a day at the most. And they're getting ready now to go on some national broadcast event, maybe like SharkTank or some kind of like a daytime TV show. And so now they're going to go from from 100 hits a day to probably 80,000 to 1,000,000 hits the first 15 minutes. And so it's a level of scale that they don't even know how to plan for. And so that's why they come to us, and we've got great admins like Miguel and others on our team who help us build for that scale, build out that architecture, make sure that all the right technical pieces are in place so that we can have a great event. And that means more than just kind of adding and throwing more servers. It's actually helping tune the infrastructure, tune the pieces such as caching, and using all the other tools available to Rackspace that we have available to the Rackspace customers, such as CDNs and things like that, that really make those kind of events a big success. So that's just one segment of customers. Other customers, like I said, they're bringing their apps over for they want to expand more. They want better support. So there's a lot of different reasons, but that's a good kind of sampling of who we encounter.
Well, great. Well, we're definitely glad to have you guys on the show, all of you, and yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot to discuss here. So, real quick before we jump in and talk more about some of the specific ways that we help people, I want to remind anybody that's watching live that wants to join our conversation. There's a couple of different ways that you can do that. If you are watching on Google+, we actually have a question and answer widget that you can go ahead and ask a question, and we'll see that question. We'll answer it here live on the air. If you are watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and drop us a comments directly in the comments section. Or if you want to tweet, you can do that. You can tweet with the hashtag CloudQA, and we'll get all those comments and questions rolled up, and we'll answer them here live on the air. All right, great. So let's talk about as soon as a person is a Rackspace customer. How quickly do we interact with somebody once they become a Rackspace customer? Looks like you guys are muted. Hang on one second here.
We're fixing that. Okay, we got it. Go ahead.
Well, we try to reach out as soon as we possibly can. Oftentimes that can be anywhere from within the hour to maybe just a couple. But we want to reach out right away. We want them to not really have to worry at all or wonder what it is that their next steps are going to be and who's going to be taking care of them. So we reach out right away. We let them know who their launch manager would be. That would be someone like Bill or myself, and start those conversations, start answering questions and getting our own questions for them answered. And then we slowly through that conversation we start to help them develop a solution that's going to work for them. So we take the things that they may have already come in to Rackspace thinking about, a plan that they may have for their architecture, and hopefully we're also able to fill any gaps. That's our goal anyway, to fill any gaps that there might be in their cloud acumen and help them build something that's going to work for them. But yeah, we want to reach out to them right away.
That's good. That's good. It sounds like there's not just a a building, not just a administration aspect to it, but there's a lot of education as well that you would do on that team.
It's a paradigm shift for a lot of customers that come to us, simply because they usually come from I call it the classical environment, where they have a server in a closet somewhere, and it hosts their whole site, and it hosts everything that they have, their whole presence. And it's a big leap of faith. Coming from the small business environment, I know exactly how they're feeling, where they're worried about security. They're worried about, is my app going to be safe? What about all the hackers and stuff like that? And so one of the things that we help do is that reassurance that, hey, look, we to help you keep the infrastructure patched. I mean, they're still going to be responsible for the site code and things of that nature, but we keep the infrastructure patched. We have a great NetSec team that watches the network that your servers sit on, things like that you probably don't have on your server back in your closet. So conversations like that really help ease that transition, help the customer feel more at ease getting into the cloud and trusting us with their application and their business overall.
Yeah, my experience working with you guys, being on your team, and then seeing the kinds of people that work well as launch managers is you guys have a really broad skill set. When a customer comes in to manage operations, they're getting access to a person who not only knows quite a few things about how to approach the cloud well, but quite a few people who can be brought to bear on projects. So you've got a great network of both administrators, guys who can get in and do all kinds of tuning and configuring on the servers themselves. You have access to a deep knowledge of the product set, not just Rackspace products, but an ecosystem of products. And so you can really find unique or effective ways to solve customer problems, because when something goes outside of your realm, which is pretty prodigious, you're able to then bring in somebody who can come in and make a really big difference with their specific expertise. And having that available as an offering to our customers, I see is hugely valuable. And that's one of the things that that we're trying to do with this show, is highlight those specifics where your activity and your expertise really brings value to customers. And so we're definitely very excited to have this opportunity. But there's kind of a wild, wild west reality of these customers. They're coming in with all of those different backgrounds and situations. Sounds like somebody's excited about bringing another customer on board. So
Yes.
that's good news.
You heard that too?
Yeah, you guys are going to be having more work to do, which is always we want to put you guys to hard work, because you guys are doing great jobs. The work that does come in can be so different from customer to customer. What are some of the commonalities and some of the trends that you see that really apply to everyone that's going to come in the door? And Miguel, feel free to jump in here too, because I know you see these customers a little further down the road. But despite their differences, there are a few things that we are always going to recommend, and you guys have the front row seat to those things. So could you share any of those generalizations that you can make, and then maybe we can talk a little bit more about more custom things here in a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. I'll let Miguel.
Go ahead, Miguel.
I'll jump in.
Please.
Yeah, so some of the commonalities we see is that these customers are experts on their businesses. They're not experts on the cloud side, and they come for us for that expertise. They will say, oh yeah, I would do server admin a couple of years ago, but now I want to focus on my business, and I want the experts handling the server side. So I think that's one of the most common themes that we get.
That's absolutely correct. And so along with that, when they come in, especially given like what Bill said, if they were used to having that one server in a closet somewhere, and that server held their web server, their database server, their application, everything, we are there to talk to them about the decoupling of these technologies and why that's beneficial in cloud. And oftentimes, even something as simple as the use of a load balancer and all of its capabilities and benefits. And so just kind of at a high level, we want to talk to them about how a re-architecture might be necessary, but why it benefits them, why it's going to be better for them down the road. And I often say we want to set you up such that you're not going to be painted into a corner when it's time to scale.
Yeah. And
there's an interesting paradigm that just happened here. So Miguel says there's these things that the customers come to us saying, I just don't want these things on my plate anymore. So I want someone who can help me, and I'm going to give the responsibility for owning the infrastructure and for system administration and maintenance. I'm going to give that to this partner, Rackspace, that frees me up to focus on something else. And then Allison shares, well, there's also these light bulbs that we turn on. We're illuminating these things for these customers that might not have realized it at first. And so there's an interesting thing that happens when a customer comes to Rackspace with a certain idea in mind. Like, I need this stuff taken care of. Rackspace does that for me. I'm excited. Rackspace is going to handle it. Great. And then they come in, and I've had a lot of situations where they don't talk to us up front, and they get things that they were looking for, but they miss these things that they didn't know to ask for, or they didn't know were there. But those who do engage get the opportunity to have conversations with people like Bill and Allison that can say, well, we're going to provide those things that you came here looking for, but have you considered the benefit of making this change or looking at it from this angle? And then the value goes from being, it's just kind of what I expected, to, oh, that's going to really change my ability to execute my vision and open up my opportunities. And so are there other light bulbs that you guys seem to turn on repeatedly with more and more customers as they're coming to us kind of expecting one thing and getting more?
The light bulb I turn on is the thought about support. So for the managed operations side, it's there's a minimum of 500 hours a month, and so for coming to when you've been hosting with say GoDaddy for like basically $12 a year, it seems like a steep price. And so, and it is. And I'm not making any, not taking that lightly. But what are you getting for that 500 hours a month? The way the light bulb I turn on for the customer is that you're essentially getting a certified Red Hat engineer that's going to be available to you 365 days a year, 24/7. He's going to not get sick. He's going to be there for you at all times, be able to log into your box, take care of business, all for the low price of $6,000 a year.
And HR doesn't have to get involved.
The HR doesn't have to get involved, not going to take vacation, not going to take sick leave, anything like that. Put that out on monster.com and see if you can get anybody to take you up on that deal. Probably not going to happen. So if if you can find a better deal, great. So that's just kind of that's the light bulb I turn on for a lot of customers. And after I point it out in those terms, they're kind of like, okay, I see the value now. There is a business value for what I'm purchasing. I'm not just getting infrastructure. I'm getting the support. It's kind of like there's a blog post on Rackspace.com where it's the Do It Together cloud, and that's really what it's about. And we're doing it together, and you're getting some top-level talent like Miguel and his colleagues to help you with your build-outs and to make your business and application a success.
That's a great point. As far as using us, whenever I speak to customers in that first conversation, the onboarding conversation, I ask them to always, if they can, just let us know if they're experiencing an issue. Hopefully even before they anticipate something to happen with their configuration, if they know they're going to have high traffic, use us, because this is what we're there for. This is what we and our techs talk about on a daily basis. We love it. So we want them to call us and ask us questions and bounce ideas off of us and let us know what their needs are and what they're trying to plan for. But that's the one request I want to put out there today to all of our customers or those that are thinking about it is, really use that phone, ticket chat. Phone's always the fastest, but really use us because we are there around the clock.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's something that I think that we definitely want to encourage our customers to do. Not just lean on us when something is broken, but try to get in touch with us before that happens. You mentioned the Do It Together cloud, and I think that's not just between our customers and Rackspace, but I mean we really work collaboratively quite a lot. I mean, I know that we're always up and going over to somebody else's desk and saying, hey, what do you think about this? How can I fix this? Is there a better way to fix this? Miguel, what are some ways that you work with your other fellow admins? Like you're not the only Linux admin that we have on the managed operations side of things. How do you guys work together and try to answer customer questions?
So we're privileged to have text 24/7 around the clock. So I think that's a great starting point.
And thank you to our second and third shifts for that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much for all the work you do. But what we try to do, let's say, we try to be a direct contact with the customer so that they can let us know in advance their growth plans or their high traffic events so we can get them prepared. So that is very important. But let's say I get a call and the customer has a question that I cannot answer. The beauty part is I have experts like just a call away. They ask me about a database. I don't know about it. I can call the DBAs. It get help on that side. So we have experts on all these technologies just a phone call away, so we can get solutions for them.
Great. Yeah, that's absolutely a great point. Let me read a real quick tweet here that Skip, one of our frequent listeners and contributors, has mentioned.
Hi, Skip.
He says, Skip says, I've always considered my rackers as coworkers and not vendors. That's absolutely what we want to do. Thanks, Skip. We definitely appreciate you as a customer and also as a viewer of the show. You've got some great insights, and that really is what it is. I mean, we want to be a part of your business. I mean, to completely strip it down to that bottom line, your business success is our business success, right? If your business isn't around to need web hosting, to need an application hosted, then we lose out on that. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that you're successful. That's without any altruism there included. Obviously, we're for the most part some pretty decent human beings. So we do want you to, maybe not Allison, but for the most part we all are.
Somebody's got to bring the average down. Happens to be the time. I don't know.
Exactly. So that was a great point, and I'm glad that Skip mentioned that, because we're very much invested in the success of all of our customers.
Well, every role that I've been in at Rackspace, there have been customers who have been thoroughly invested in the support that we offer and in getting the value out of those support people. And like Miguel was talking about, like, you might have a database concern, some issue that goes beyond the specific skill set of the person who you got on the phone. I have walked over to the Memcache guy so many times, or the Varnish or the Apache guru or whoever, because there's just so much expertise on the floor that you can really get a sense pretty quickly of who's specifically good at what, and that mind share is a fantastic thing to be able to leverage. If you hired all of the people that it would take to run your environment, that would be a few people, maybe just 2, maybe 3 or 4. But if each of them picked one thing and they were really knowledgeable on that, then you have 4 gurus on 4 things. But at Rackspace, we have hundreds of admins who all have things that they're specifically interested in, and so you start having this multiplier against that expertise, and that becomes hugely valuable. And so you see value that on the face, that sounds like a pretty good deal, but as you peel the layers back, you really start to see the value open up and be even more surprising than these guys know Linux or Windows. They do. That's why we hired them, but they're also really good at some piece of that beyond the rest of the floor, and so those people can bring their specific skills into your specific issues when you need them, and then they'll be there the next time. So
absolutely,
I really love to see those types of things highlighted, because I don't think that they're there at face value, but they're absolutely things that have been the difference in customer success versus customer failure, because I'm not the guy that you want to troubleshoot your database or to clean up those queries, but we got a guy, so we can go grab them. And so that's a pretty exciting reality to be a part of, but it's really huge when it comes to delivering your end goals, to know that you've got a ton of people with a ton of experience on a ton of different technologies, that a phone call and a ticket gets them engaged and can bring those skills to bear.
Yeah, we're quarterbacks a lot of the time, for our customers and for their needs. So if we're not talking about something even just that's directly about their application, we're also helping them with a billing question, or it might be something with legal, or they might want to do some testing. So we're grabbing different resources and pulling them into calls all the time. Very often our calls will is it flesh out or flesh out? I think it's flesh out, right, for the purposes of it. We will flesh out opportunities for customers to be able to utilize even other types of infrastructure. Oftentimes we find that out during our calls with them, so we grab on those teams as well.
Well, an aspect of the onboarding that you guys do that is different for every customer, but there's these inflection points where a customer brings, whatever. They have a site that they want to host. From my experience, there's a few times when you ask a question, and the way that customer responds to that question decides, do I go left or do I go right? Are there any of those big ones that you guys would like to highlight that would maybe give potential customers or people who are considering moving to managed operations and getting that consulting that would give them an idea where they might be headed?
I think one of the big ones is, for me, migrations. One of the things that we're fanatical support, and so a lot of times people sign up and they think, oh, finally, it's like they've reached the destination of in the cloud, to where it's like, okay, I've finally found somebody who can help support me. First thing I want to do is migrate everything over, and so it's a delicate conversation to say we're happy to work with your infrastructure and help you with your business and your application, but our skill set isn't in migration expertise, and so we want to leave that to the experts, either our internal team, the Cloud Movers team, or maybe some third party that specializes in migrations. But once your app is over on our servers, then now we can turn Miguel loose, so somebody like Miguel loose on the app, or get dialed into the servers and start checking out, see what's going on. We can then start, leveraging other monitoring tools. We can leverage the rackers, the administrator's skill set to look at things that they've done in the past that they know what works. So we've got certain, I'm thinking varnish templates that we know work well with WordPress and stuff like that. So it just, once we get over there, then we can really, once the app is on our servers, then we can really get going. But sometimes they will create the first ticket or the welcome ticket and just kind of, here's the keys to the kingdom, please go get my stuff and bring it over. And it really needs to be handled in a more diplomatic way.
It's not. Unfortunately, it's not quite that easy. But we can help you. We can help you in a couple of different ways. And once we do, we can really make a difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Miguel, what are some of the things that you've been able to help customers with? What's one thing that you think that would be nice for every new Rackspace customer to know before they come in, as far as something that can help them succeed?
So I think one of the most important things would be to let us know your growth plans. Because getting an application to be scalable in the cloud, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the curtains. So if we can get it prepared beforehand, it'll be a lot less painful, and it's going to be super transparent for the end user. But letting us know, even if it's 6 months away or a year away, letting us know beforehand, we can get you prepared.
Great.
One of the things we always ask our customers is, when do you want to go live? Obviously, that's the important date. When are you going to make that final cutover? But also, like Miguel says, what's 6 months, 8 months? Because a lot of times they hadn't thought that far ahead in technology terms, but they've thought about that far ahead in marketing terms. And so when you get them to start thinking that way, oh yeah, we're going to do a marketing push, and usually marketing teams are pretty good at saying, okay, we're going to do an email blast, and that email blast we're going to send out to 10,000 people. Of those 10,000 people, usually 2,000 will click on the link. So those are the kind of numbers that we want to know about. Okay, so if we receive a 2,000 click blast, then we want to turn it over to Miguel and say, hey, look, let's look at how much data or how much resources your app is currently consuming with one visit. Because if we're going to get 2,000 visits, we need to make sure that we scale and ramp up to handle that traffic load and be ready for it. So that's important things to know. It's not something that a person in the tech office of a company is probably thinking about or collaborating with the marketing person who's at that same company, but they all, it's the butterfly effect. One impacts the other.
The more holistic a view that you're able to provide to these consultants, to the resources of Rackspace, the better those responses are going to be, because they're going to be tailored to those needs. I mean, if you just say, I need to be live by tomorrow, okay, there are some limitations around that, but live by tomorrow is a quantifiable goal, but that's not a clear picture of the way the business is headed. That's not a clear understanding of, do you want to be live and stable? Do you want to be live and growing? What does live look like? I mean, there's a lot of conversation that has to be fleshed out. I'm going to go with flesh that time instead of flesh.
Thank you.
It could go either way.
I agree.
That needs to be clarified so that the way forward is more clear. Because live just means we want the IPs that are at Rackspace to be the IPs that get hit when someone goes to my domain or whatever. Okay, yeah, we can do that. But there's a lot more specificity that someone in the organization knows. It may not be the person that we talk to first, but the more collaborative the experience is, the more we can get in front of the people in marketing and the people who are the business decision makers, the better experience it'll be overall, because we'll know about, we have a big commercial endeavor that's going to happen, or a social media campaign, or we're going to be on SharkTank, or whatever. I mean, the kinds of things that come through the managed operations support groups are everything from, I've just got this little pet site that I've built and kind of want to see if it goes anywhere, to this is life or death. Like, I'll literally go bankrupt if this doesn't go well, and I have the biggest opportunity I'm ever going to have next week. I'm going to be on Shark Tank, and if I hit a home run, my life's going to change, and if I miss, I'm sunk, and my life is over. So the whole gamut. We run into all of these kinds of things, and so knowing Shark Tank, we approach things differently because that necessitates a different approach. Something that we're just going to kind of build out and watch, okay, we'll monitor it just to see, what are your trend lines, and you'll be okay. If it's Shark Tank next week, we're going to build big. We're going to recommend some load testing as early as possible. We're going to approach that in a very different way. And so those kinds of conversations start out with, let's just get some general idea. But the more specific you can be with us, the more tailored we can be with you. And having a tailored approach is something that is really, really valuable. You can buy a suit off the rack and look okay. You can get it tailored, and it fits you perfectly for that event. And if you get your beach body that you've always been looking to get, then you might need to get it tailored again. But tailors do that. You'll have to go buy another suit. And so getting that specificity around, this is what we need exactly, this is what our business expects, that gives us the ability to say, well, then we recommend these approaches, these technologies, this timeline, this schedule, and it can be collaborative. We can deliver a lot of things, but the more clearly we understand what you're looking for, the better we'll be able to deliver it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I think we've said it a couple of times on the show. Get in touch with us. We're more than happy to work with you. Well, let's talk a little bit about that a little bit more, like how we work with customers. So Allison and Bill, you guys are most frequently work with the brand new customers that have never worked with Rackspace. Miguel, you usually come in a little bit further down the road. So let's talk a little bit about that. So after they've worked with us for 60 days, right? That's when we're graduating people off onto the managed operations service level, right? So tell us a little bit about how that transition works.
Sure. So we actually all kind of meet collaboratively once a week, and we even talk about customers that are going to be graduating, so as to make our account manager on that side aware of who's coming over, maybe how their events have gone, things like that, any of the highlights, important things to know about those customers, who the main points of contact are, things like that. So we do a warm transition internally, and we always offer to our customers the ability to have an introduction to that account manager at that time as well. We know they're busy, so we want to go based on their schedule, but we always do offer that, and we've definitely had a few bites on that, and we've set up some nice introduction calls to help that customer understand you're still going to have a point of contact, someone that can talk about architecture, best practices, scaling, things like that, and you'll still, of course, have that 24/7 support team, so someone like Miguel at that time.
Another way that we also, I'd like to, speaking of light bulbs that are being turned on, is it's not just now we're not like just handing you over and you can never talk to us again. Actually, it's the opposite. We're now making a wider skill set and talent pool available to you to help support your app. So now, you've worked with our little team. We're a small team. There's 4 launch managers and 5 Linux administrators on our team. And so now that when you've graduate after that 60 days, you now have access to not only us. We're always available, happy to talk. But now you have access to everybody in the managed operations segment there that can help. And that's just like Miguel says. There's a wider talent pool of people that you can talk to and go find out who might know a little bit of something. There might be that one guy who knows everything there is to know, a mile deep on varnish or something like that, or memcache. So it's really it's a whole lot better for the customer when that graduation point happens. It's not like we're letting them go to some unknown land. They're going into a much better place. That's the wrong way to say it. I said that wrong. That's not.
We hope they're right.
Yeah, to add on what Allison was saying, the introduction conversation is very important. Not only it gives us the opportunity to get more insight into the customer, but it also gives us the opportunity to set expectations and lay out responsibilities. We can lay out what's their responsibilities, what's ours, reach alignment, and set up a timeline for what the project we're working on. So that conversation is very important. We love having it. So by all means, let's do that.
It's a good one. Always take that opportunity to work with all the different teams going to be working with you. You kind of mentioned project timelines. So I mean, sometimes they're finished up within that first 60 days, and sometimes it's hey, we're good to go. We just need to be in steady state and just let us know if anything's going to change. Or sometimes they are, hey, we're hitting our 4th time on a nationally televised show. So we need to continue doing the things that were successful, incorporate the lessons that we've learned from that as you go along. So all different types of projects there. I think the other thing that I wanted to talk to you specifically about, Miguel, is we've talked about more of the brand new customers. Let's talk a little bit more about customers that might be upgrading from the managed infrastructure service level and what we do during that first interactions there.
Okay, so a very important distinction is, in managed infrastructure, we don't log into the servers, right? We provide the infrastructure level support. When they come over to us, we now have access into their servers. And so very importantly, we go through their whole environment to try to identify tuning opportunities, or maybe they're missing backups. Maybe we need to monitor something. So we go through the whole environment to try and find how can we make it better. And once we reach that point, you start having the conversation. It's like, all right, where are we taking? How are we going to grow this? And what's your next project? And we try to be your point of contact for these projects so that we can be an extension of your team.
Well, and I think that this mindset of what project are we on right now? What's the next project going to be? Like that does make us really more a part of the team, and not just let's make sure that the server's turned on and that the intern doesn't trip on the Ethernet cable on his way down and shut you guys down. I mean, we're really taking a lot to make sure that we are an active part of your team, and that's some very good insight there.
Not only active, but proactive. I mean, with the managed operations service level, what we can do is, Miguel mentioned monitoring. Monitoring alerts are very key to our proactive support once you're in that steady state that we've been talking about. Because then you want to make sure that something's watching your website, so that if it does fall over, maybe it's due to resource exhaustion on the database side or something like that. That would be something that would take the site down. You want to monitor an alert that's going to create a ticket for one of our admins to jump in and start troubleshooting that. That kind of support is absolutely. I mean, for customers who say, "I can't go down," you should be really turning that on. And then the other mention was the backups and making sure that we have good quality backups. And you probably want to test those backups, whether you're just restoring the file back to somewhere on your server to make sure it's working, or with the beauty of the cloud, hey, take one of those images and spin it up as a server. Does it actually work? You know, you have a golden image of your site, but have you tested it? And so that's another thing, is make sure those. If you want us to do that, that's the cool thing that we can do. All it takes is a ticket or phone call or live chat, and we can do that for you. We can test it out, verify, yeah, it's a good image, so that if we have to build from it, we know it will be successful. So those are just some best practices on how to be successful down the road should something happen.
Bill, I was really hoping you were going to say fire drill right there. I mean,
fire drill.
You were talking all around it.
You gave a great talk about that. Yeah, that's right.
But this is the theme.
You couldn't say fire drill.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crucial that you understand the tools that are now at your disposal with managed operations and get the value you want out of them. We'll help you set up any of the monitoring checks and any of the backup strategies that you would like to, but we'd also like to be part of making sure that that's done to your spec, to your need. And part of that is setting it up, and the other part of that is verifying it does what you need it to do. It may go off at exactly the right time but tell the wrong person, and that's not valuable to you. And so we want to be part of making sure you get the value out of the offering. And so over and over and over, we see this theme kind of through this talk is be sure you get full value out of being in managed operations. There's a ton available, but if you don't take advantage of it, you're spending more money for well, the money you're spending is being spread over fewer opportunities. So take every opportunity to get the value.
It's like John.
Absolutely crucial.
John Engate said in a video, he's like, we're not saying that you can't. It's not managed operations. Isn't just for people who can't manage their infrastructure. We have customers that are extremely talented and can manage it just as well as us. It's really about the question of why would you manage it? Why aren't you focusing more on delivering what your customers are coming to you for, and building your app, or maybe taking your site to the next revision that's going to be that aligns with the strategic planning of your company. So why are you managing? Why are you fussing with infrastructure? Let us take care of that for you. So if you're not putting, I see a lot of customers, like you said, who just don't engage with us. They go and they come in and we reach out to them, and there's no callback, there's no response message, and we reach out several times throughout the 60-day engagement, and just not a peep is heard. And so just I personally kind of wonder, what did they come in for in the first place? And is there something that's missing that we could have helped with, or what? So there's still a lot of unknowns to be sorted out.
We're really nice. We just want to talk to you. we don't want to stalk.
But really, just getting an opportunity to be a part of your success is incredibly gratifying for Rackers. I think there's a certain part of the culture and the fabric of Rackers that just wants to see customers succeed. I know me personally, if I see a great idea, I want to put my weight behind it. I want to make sure that great idea sees the light of day and gets its full success. And it's crushing when a great idea fizzles out because of something that didn't have to kill it. I hate seeing that. That is painful to me, and I want to see that home run opportunity get hit out of the park and be a great success and be a catapult that moves a business forward or a movement forward, instead of